First one beer.
In January 2014, Alcohol Justice invited the world to tell the NFL, NBA, MLB, FIFA, the Olympics, and other sports associations to end alcohol advertising, end alcohol branding, sponsorship, and celebrity endorsements. Hi, I'm Bruce Lee Livingston, Executive Director and CEO of Alcohol Justice. Alcohol and sports are a toxic mix for athletes and young viewers alike, fueling injuries, violent behavior, and billions of dollars in alcohol-related harm. But alcohol and sports are also big business, very big, and very harmful to society, harmful to its youth, public health, and safety. Big Alcohol patently lies, saying there's no evidence that exposure to alcohol ads encourages underage consumption or harmful overconsumption among adults. The opposite is actually true. Researchers across the world have arrived at this conclusion. This is nicely summed up by Kerry O'Brien, head of behavioral studies at Australia's Monash University, when he stated, exposure to and/or recall of alcohol advertising and sponsorship by children and adolescents predicts their future drinking expectancies, norms, drinking intentions, and hazardous drinking behaviors. As you watch the big game, think about this. Just two global behemoths, Anheuser-Busch InBev and Miller Coors, invest roughly $500 million annually on TV ads during sporting events in the U.S. Would these profit-thirsty, bottom-line-driven corporations waste their dollars? Of course not. It really only proves that they get the return on investment they want, increased alcohol sales and consumption. Unfortunately, this leads to a public health and safety return on investment that has become unacceptable. Driven by big alcohol advertising, branding, sponsorship, and celebrity endorsements, America consumes an estimated 325 million gallons of beer on the day of the big game, so alcohol-related harm is inevitable. Throughout the year, sports-related alcohol overconsumption leads directly to tens of thousands of incidents of alcohol-related violence and harm. As Super Bowl 48 approaches, we know that about 20 to 30 million kids will tune in to watch on TV and online, only to be saturated once again with beer ads. Over the last 5 years, Alcohol Justice has used its youth video contest to send a message to big alcohol and professional sports, telling them that alcohol and sports are a bad combination. It's gratifying for us to know that we're not the only ones who find sports alcohol ads, sponsorships, and celebrity endorsements disturbing. Two of the smartest, most popular TV personalities in the country also believe that there's something wrong with mixing alcohol and sports.
Most people that do smoke pot, I watch their ambition being curtailed steadily, and they never reach their potential.
A no on pot because I believe it is addictive and it leads to more serious drugs.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Nothing.
Okay, there's no question that pot, like everything else, can have its downside. But you know, a recent UC San Diego study found that alcohol appears to harm the teenage brain even more than, and I'm using clinical terminology here, getting potted up on weed. So your argument against marijuana, it would carry a lot more weight if these same individuals had a similar perspective on America's alcohol usage and go.
It's Wednesday, best day of the week.
Great job getting us drunk.
We could all use a stiff drink.
Fantastic. Margarita day.
If you're not going to drink it, pass it around.
I haven't had a beer in ever.
Would you like a beer?
How are you guys spending New Year's Eve?
I'm going to get real drunk.
Yeah, I'm going to get real drunk. I just hope I don't see any of them loser potheads while I'm getting all f***ed up, because that would kill my totally socially acceptable alcohol buzz. So we clearly know that marijuana is a deadly gateway drug from which no sane person can ever hope to escape. But our view of alcohol is not even benign indifference, but celebratory. Where marijuana always leads you to a dark path, how do we view the effect of beer?
Come on now.
Coors Light.
Holy beer is magic. It turns an overcrowded, sweltering cityscape into a beach party where skateboards become surfboards and business suits become bikinis. But rest assured, our children will never be exposed to this potentially overstated fantasy world that glorifies alcoholic consumption unless they watch TV.
It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Cross-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Michelob Ultra is the superior light beer.
Bud Light, here we go.
That's one afternoon of watching football. It gives me cirrhosis of the eyeballs. I can't sit down with my kid for a pleasant afternoon watching grown men give each other concussions without being bombarded by the Harry Potter-esque transformative power of fermented hops. Not that they aren't looking out for the kids.
Please drink responsibly.
What? I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you over the snowing bikini party.
Now, folks, as you know, I dedicated all of last night's show exclusively to sports. But there's lots of other things to talk about. This is the Spore Report. Folks, I'm a huge fan of college football. It's got all the grace and athleticism of pro football, but the players don't make any money. They're in it for the love of not getting paid. I have no interest in jaded professionals who do things for money. Same reason I just don't enjoy watching people pick cotton anymore. But a terrifying, terrifying new enemy is threatening to destroy our beloved college sports: education.
The University of North Carolina is not just an athletic powerhouse with dedicated fans. It's also a top-tier academic institution. But one academic counselor there, who spent years tutoring student athletes, says too many of them can't even read.
They're leaving here, our private sport athletes, without an education.
Willingham found that 8% were reading below a 4th grade level, and 60% were reading between a 4th and 8th grade reading level.
I mean, we may as well just go over to Glenwood Elementary right up the street and just let all the 4th graders in here.
Why? How fast can they run the 40? Can they really take a hit? Okay. Worse, folks, this counselor Willingham here claims they're ripping our student athletes off.
The scholarship agreement is often fraudulent. We promise an education in exchange for talents, and that's not what we are providing many of these young people.
Fraudulent? Come on, UNC is fulfilling its end of the bargain. You play football, and in exchange, you get a diploma. You don't know that's what it is because you can't read it, but trust them, it says that you can. And this whole we owe students an education racket is a threat to something much more important than kids' futures: present-day money. Because college sports is an $8 billion industry, roughly the size of the NFL. And if college athletes learn math, they'll be able to calculate that their share of that money is 0%. And they're big. They're big boys. Besides, knowledge is a precious thing. It's a waste to stuff it into a football player's skull when it's just going to get all scrambled out on the field. Now, speaking of college football, folks, pro football. It's the NFL playoffs, and everyone's bringing their A game. The fast guys who do the catch ball, the huge fellas who push the smaller guys, and the stripy dancers who do the YMCA. Nice to see they made the playoffs again this year. And as always, we're seeing some outstanding performances from the true heroes of the NFL, the advertisers. True fans know all the players. Pepsi is the official soft drink of the NFL. Gatorade, the official sports drink of the NFL. Xbox One is the official console of the NFL. Bridgestone is the official tire of the NFL. And earlier this year, Sabra hummus became the official dip of the NFL. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. They're already grinding the chickpeas for the celebratory hummus dump. But There's a reason the NFL takes its corporate partnerships so seriously. In fact, there are 1.2 billion reasons, because that's how much it costs to make Bud Light the NFL's official beer, which is actually a pretty fair price for officially recognizing Bud Light as a beer. I love this partnership. Folks, I love this partnership, and so does one of the game's biggest stars, because here's what Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning said after his team's win on Sunday.
What's weighing on my mind is how soon I can get a Bud Light in my mouth after this win. That is really priority number one.
Folks, I believe this just might be the greatest act of sport-adjacent corporate promotion since Lou Gehrig's tearful farewell.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. And it's all thanks to Brill Cream. A little dabble do you.
So Peyton Manning, you keep up the good work. Remember, as the great Vince Lombardi once said, winning isn't everything. Ba-da-ba-ba-da, I'm loving it. We'll be right back.
Alcohol ads, sponsorships, and celebrity endorsements associated with sports are disturbing, not just because they are designed to lure young people to take their first drink, but because they also cleverly create a culture where kids perceive alcohol consumption as a normal, everyday part of life. And they see it as something associated with sporting success. But you and I know better than that. Nothing could be further from the truth. The only game plan that will work is to eliminate global alcohol advertising, sponsorships, branding, and promotions from every sport, from college games to the NFL championship, from the World Series to the World Cup and to the Olympics. And it's time to end the nonprofit status of the NFL and the unfair public subsidies the billionaire team owners enjoy. For more information, visit alcoholjustice.org.